and President Donald Trump making their final pushes. The candidates and their running mates hitting key battleground states in a race to the finish. President Trump making stops today in Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and North Carolina. While in Fayetteville, North Carolina, the president stressed how important the election is to the country.
I am asking for you to go out tomorrow or sooner, but I don't know, you tend to like to vote on election day, right? We all do. And vote. It is going to be the most important election, in my opinion, in the history of our country. I never thought I was going to say it. If you would have told me I was going to say that 4 years ago, I would have said, you're crazy.
Vice President Mike Pence will join the president for rallies tonight in Michigan. Earlier today, Vice President Pence was in Pennsylvania. And former Vice President Joe Biden also spent a good chunk of today campaigning in that crucial battleground state, Pennsylvania. Like Florida, it will be pivotal to fortunes tomorrow night. He spoke to voters in Ohio in his final push, too, taking on President Trump's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic and making his own case for the future of the country.
What happens tomorrow is going to determine what this country looks like for a couple generations. And that's not a joke. I really genuinely believe that. We choose hope over fear. We choose unity over division. We choose science over fiction. And yeah, we choose truth over lies, constant lies.
Vice presidential candidate Kamala Harris also making several stops in battleground states, and former President Barack Obama lending a hand. He campaigned in Miami and Georgia today. President Trump will spend tomorrow night in Washington, D.C. watching the results. Reports indicate he will be at the White House. The First Lady, Melania Trump, expected to be in Palm Beach tomorrow morning to vote, then return to the nation's capital. Meanwhile, Joe Biden will be in Delaware with plans to address the country from the Chase Center, the same location where he formally accepted his party's nomination in August. Today, the Palm Beach County Supervisor of Elections reassuring voters about tomorrow's plan. Wendy Sartori-Link says her office has tabulated well more than 600,000 ballots, nearly the number cast in the 2016 election overall, and election staff bracing for a strong turnout on Election Day. She asked everyone who votes tomorrow to show up at the polls wearing a mask. And no, there's still that mail ballot option for those worried about COVID or in quarantine right now, but really, supervisors say at this point, the ballots must be dropped off now. Drop them off.
You can have a pickup affidavit. So if it's a family member, they can do an unlimited number for their family. If it's a non-family member, you can get a friend, a neighbor, and you can fill out the pickup affidavit that's online. They can come to our office, pick up a ballot for you.
Besides masks, Sartori-Link asking for patience and consideration for poll workers who will be working long hours to make sure your vote is counted. The lines at your polling place might not be nearly as long as nearly 9 million people have voted in Florida. That's about 62% of our state's registered voters and more than 2 million more votes over total early turnout in 2016. Here's a look at voter turnout in our area. Martin County, the highest turnout at more than 70% for early voting. 65% of registered voters in Indian River County have already voted, and 62% in St. Lucie County. Palm Beach County's turnout is at nearly 61%, while Okeechobee County is at 51%. And if you've not voted, of course, tomorrow is your final opportunity. Polling sites open 7 a.m., close at 7 p.m. You'll need an identification to vote. Now, if you're in line at 7 p.m., you'll be allowed to vote no matter how long the line is. Go to WPTV.com/election2020 to find your voting precinct. If you still have your mail-in ballot, again, do not mail it. There's no time left. You'll have to drop it off in a supervisor of elections office. 4 years ago, 50% of voters in their late teens and 20s voted. That's expected to grow this year, though. And WPTV News Channel 5's Mike Trim spoke with young voters who'll be heading to the polls for the first time.
3 students, 3 different backgrounds, one common thought for Election Day.
It was really important for me to vote in this election.
It's really important for me to vote.
Important for me to be able to go out and voice my opinion and vote for, who I would want to vote for.
Jules Jasmine is used to lacing it up and throwing it down for the Palm Beach Atlantic basketball team. The senior from Royal Palm Beach is now hoping his first-time vote will score big this election.
One vote can change everything, It doesn't matter. Anything can happen. I feel like just because you say, I shouldn't vote, I feel like you should just still go out. It takes like 2 minutes to just do it.
First-time voters like Jasmine are already making a difference. Estimates are more than 1 million ballots cast in early voting here in Florida were by voters who didn't vote in 2016 or 18. Sarah Murillo is a Palm Beach State College student and first-time voter. Born in Colombia, she became a naturalized citizen last year, and this vote is extra special.
For me, it's really important here because we have it good. Like, we can actually voice our opinions. And it will actually count for something.
Hitting up the ballot booth is something Sarah Helbling's family has done their whole lives. Now it's her turn. And even if her candidate doesn't win or amendments don't pass, this is still a victory.
There'd be a bit of disappointment because things wouldn't have gone your way and you wouldn't have gotten exactly what you wanted, but I would still say that I felt like my vote counted.
And these three voters are counting on starting their journey and having a say in this country's democracy.
Mike Trim, WPTV News Channel 5.
And among the group of first-time voters will be students who pushed to bring change in the wake of tragedy. Hundreds of Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School alumni who were in school when a young gunman opened fire, killing 17 people on Valentine's Day 2018. After the shooting, as you well recall, they marched for change and called on people to sign a contract pledging to vote for politicians who support stricter gun laws. Zach Hipschman and Adam Buchwald, now sophomores at the University of Florida, and say they're ready for responsibility.
I'm definitely going to think of gun control. The topic of gun control is extremely important. That was one of the things that Adam and I so desperately wanted to do, and that's what we revolved our organization around.
Some Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School survivors were able to vote in the midterm elections. This will be the first presidential election that they're able to participate in. Predicting the presidential winner, the one Treasure Coast County you may want to watch extra closely as results come in. Plus, looking at the issues where President Donald Trump and Joe Biden stand when it comes to protecting our paradise.